Welcome to the Marketing Genius Podcast, a show where we interview the most influential people in real estate to teach you how to generate leads, build a brand, and convert more customers. What's up, everybody? Grant Wise here. Welcome to the Marketing Genius Podcast. I am deeply honored to have our guest on today. It's one of my favorite students, favorite friends, favorite guys in the whole world, Mr. Matt McCutcheon, Georgia real estate agent, team leader, I believe brokerage owner too, right? You guys own that business? Or
No.
Okay. Just does a really good job.
Riding the gravy train. That's all.
Just does a really good job at putting the KW or whatever in the disclaimer, whichever company he's actually with.
That's it.
Matt, man, thanks so much for jumping by today.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, brother. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Love it. Let's dive right onto this thing. So who are you and how did you get to where you are today?
So I'm just really just me. At the end of the day, if there's anything that I could say is I am who I am. But I got into real estate. I actually got my real estate license in 2003. So I've been at this game for a little while, more than a minute. So I've seen a lot of things. When I did real estate, I did it from 2003 to 2009, early 2009. And then I bought a gym for a couple years and ran it for about 8 or 9 years. And then when my wife was pregnant, I sold my gym. The guy that bought my gym basically defaulted on the loan that we did some owner financing with, and then he filed bankruptcy. So we had about $2,000 in the bank. I was basically a brand new real estate agent, and my wife was pregnant, and I somehow ran across this guy on there talking. He was bald and good looking, handsome, from Arkansas. And I clicked on the link. It was a Facebook ad talking about how to sell more property and how to do it differently, because that day was the first day that I went riding looking for FSBOs, for sale by owners, for the first time in 9 years. And so the game had changed, social media, the internet, like everything was on a different level than it was before. So, for me, I was like, this is not going to work. This just isn't the way I can do it anymore. So it's funny, the same exact day, I clicked the link, set up an interview, joined the Modern Agent Mastery real estate group. And it wasn't long before I was one of the top producers in my area, even that year. I think we started in March or April of
April.
I think 2016, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
April 16.
And I never made, from that point on, I made well over, 6 figures that year. And then every year since then, I have more than doubled my income. I have started a team. It was kind of by accident in a sense, because people were seeing my success on social media. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing differently than everybody? So I started to have people, and actually I have 3 people on my team that I did real estate transactions for. I either sold their house or found them a new one or whatever it was, and they said that, man, I see what you're doing. I want to do that. And so my goal was to make sure that every single person on my team made 100K. That was just my goal from the beginning. I was like, if you're going to come work for me, I'm going to do whatever it takes for you, to cross that threshold. That's kind of like that mark for most people, at least to be, I would consider a top tier agent. You're out of the mediocrity level, once you kind of start making a little bit over $100,000 a year. And so far, just in the first year of the team, we're going to have the first 2 members of the team make 100K in their first full year. So, we've added, there's 10 agents now. So we've got some newbies on the team, but they're learning the ropes. And, that's my goal, is to push them over that threshold of 100K in a year. So that's kind of, where the team is. As for me, like I said, and I had this conversation with you not too long ago, but in the past year, it seemed easier. It seemed like I haven't had to work as hard, and I've literally doubled my income. It's every single year, and I've already doubled it from last year to this point in August of this year. So it's kind of crazy, but it's becoming more apparent now that the work that I did in the first 2 years to really build my business and build myself, as who I am in the industry is very, very, very important. That hard work, because I did so much social media video that everybody knows me wherever I go. And like for me, I understood that if they know that this dude does real estate and we can have a friendly conversation, even if you're a stranger at, the pharmacy or the flower shop or the gym, that they'll walk up to you and be like, "Oh, you sell real estate." And we'll start having a conversation. And that, relationship is always going to convert to, a transaction closing for me. It just is. So that's kind of where, I started at and where I am today. I'm pretty blessed and lucky, but I definitely worked pretty hard too. And still, put my nose to the grindstone. And I still feel like, for me, I feel like that's always going to be a separator, is I'm really trying to outwork everybody. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, there is no substitute for hard work. Like you have to, especially in the beginning years, it's still hard work. It's still, as more successful as my business has become, it is more stressful in a different area. It's not getting up and cold calling or following leads and doing things. It's a more managerial type thing. So it's more work, but just different. You know what I mean? It's still a grind, but it's just a very different.
Love it. So what was it about driving for dollars back in April of 2016 that you were like, this just isn't going to work? Was it I don't want to do this sucks? Or was it, hey, the agent or the consumer rather doesn't want me to do that? Like, what was it that made you think like, I can't be doing this? Like, this is crazy.
It was the time that I spent doing that versus the amount of leads that I got. Like I would drive literally 4 or 5 hours a day, burn $100 worth of fuel, and get one for sale by owner lead that would tell me to F off. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just, and then it was like, I had people tell me cold call, and all I can do is think about when my phone rings and it's a phone number that I don't know, and I answer it because I'm in sales and it's someone trying to sell me something. It pisses me off so bad. I was like, there is no way I'm going to cold call, period. I just hate it, don't want to do it. So there has to be a different way. So that was kind of the mindset as to where, I fell into it, just because, one, I know how I felt as a consumer when someone's trying to sell me something versus, me seeking out someone's service. That, and then just the pure scarcity of leads for driving for dollars.
What did it feel like whenever that shift was made? I mean, when you go from somebody that's driving around chasing business and then you turn around and now business is chasing you, what's that like? I mean, what's that experience like?
It's wild, and you're kind of like, well, why the hell didn't I think about this before? You know what I mean? that's part of it. It's a really weird thing. And I think that there's not that many, like if there's a real estate agent out there that's still cold calling or door knocking, yes, those are time-honored traditions of the real estate industry, but they suck. Nobody enjoys it, whether it's the person on either end of the phone, versus like having, when your phone rings, it's people wanting to do business with you, like just from the initial point of contact. That is a very different feeling, because I don't know, I'm sure there's some real estate agent out there thinking like, damn, I got to pick up the phone and cold call somebody, versus me, when my phone rings, it's somebody wanting to do business with me. It's not an awkward call. It's, hey, how you doing? Let's roll. I'll meet you there at 2:00 on Sunday. You know what I mean? So it's just a very, very different mindset shift for sure.
Now, I always tell people the relationships have taken me farther than Facebook ads ever will, but Facebook created most of those relationships. Do you
Absolutely.
feel like that has been true in your business?
100%. I can think of 10 or 12, 15 maybe people that saw my videos, either contacted me via message or called me, that they're just, they have turned those relationships, because they saw my Facebook video, have have become so much more business, simply because of the true and genuine relationship that I have with these people. And it's not even necessarily about the transaction. It's just about, I've got good people in my corner, you know? And when you have friendships and good relationships, those people that care about you are going to want to see you succeed. So the minute anybody around them says, hey man, I'm thinking about selling my house, they're throwing their contact information at them, you know? So they're picking up to call you. It's, for me, it's been, and I told, Chris Briscoe is a guy that's on my team. Dude, he's never sold real estate. He worked in a factory. He worked in a warehouse his entire working career, and he got laid off. He got his real estate license. He joined my team. I said, dude, if you listen to me, I promise you'll make 100K. He'll make 100K in September of this year.
There we go.
He's one of those. He's been at it less than a year, or no, just over a year. I'm trying to think. Right at a year, actually. Yeah, I think he joined me in August. So in September he'll cross that 100K mark. And we were talking about it last night, actually. And I said, man, you can try to do anything and everything. I said, but the relationships equal transactions. Yep. You have good relationships with people, the money's going to come.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that the more you and I've worked together, the more that has really come true. And I've seen it, blossom into something. If you just really care about people and you give without expecting anything in return, either give them good service or just good friendship, or give them a gift card to a steakhouse in town just out of the blue, that goes farther than anything that I've ever done. More than any Facebook ad, more than any ad spend I could ever do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's you have an entire industry that's really just trying to figure it out right now. And obviously Facebook ads is a great place to start, but we do Facebook ads to start conversation, right? So we start building our database and growing our sphere. It's the purpose of Facebook ads. And then it kind of acts like a little fire starter, and like the foundation of like what, got everything started, right? You set it on fire, and then your business grows up and grows up and grows up. And then you get to a point where you see this paradigm shift where, in everybody's business, there's, everybody should have a deal tracker. You should know proportionally where your business comes from, what the ROI is from each, et cetera, et cetera. So let's say, in the beginning, it's like 90-10, like 10% of my business comes from, my referral base. If you're using advertising, for example, Facebook ads, 90% of it comes from Facebook. You see that paradigm start to swish and transfer, like where it gets to a point where like, all right, well now it's 50-50. Well, now it's 75-25. Like it starts going the opposite way, where most of your business ends up coming from relationships and a smaller portion of your business ends up coming from Facebook ads. But you it seems like that's kind of how you used it. Like you used it to get to like a point, and then it got to a point where it's like, well, I don't have to rely as much on that medium anymore. And the reason I'm kind of elaborating here is like, we all have to rent attention from other platforms. Like when you pay Facebook or you pay Zillow or you pay realtor.com, that's media that you're renting. Like you don't own that unless you convert it to attention that you own. And that's the main purpose of paid advertising, direct marketing. You're trying to convert attention from stuff that you're borrowing to stuff that you now own. And that base will just take you anywhere in the world you want to go. What would you feel like is the most important part of, getting leads from Facebook? I mean, there's the lead part of it, knowing how to do that. There's the branding component, which, we were talking about video marketing. And then there's the conversion component. Like, what do you feel like in your early days was the most important thing? And did that change as you got better at it?
I think that the most important thing for me was to be consistent through, my marketing, my advertising, to when I meet the person and face to face or on the phone call. Because I'm, like I was saying at the very beginning, like I think that a lot of real estate agents, they try to play a real estate agent versus just being themselves. When I got my real estate license, I didn't change. My wardrobe didn't change, so I have to wear a suit and tie. And, act cool. And, I understand that there's a point of professionalism, but I can guarantee if we have a conversation about real estate, and let's just be real and try to make someone feel comfortable, because I feel like a real estate transaction, most people forget, is stressful as shit. It's just stressful. It's just like, as a seller or a buyer, it's this huge, ginormous purchase in their life. And for me, I feel like one of the biggest things is to gain their trust and try to explain to them that, it's going to be okay. And I got your back, and making sure that they understand that if you got to call me at, 2 PM because you're hyperventilating and you're freaking out, that'll call me. It's okay. I'll calm you down. I feel like being genuine and making sure that you meet the needs of the customer, because if you really think about it, meeting the needs of a customer is a little bit different. It's not just selling their house for a certain price. There's a whole lot that happens in the transaction from the minute you put the sign in the yard or show them the first house to you're sitting at the closing table. There's a ton of emotions, and it's different in every situation. I sold a house that this lady, her and her husband built. He passed away a couple of years. So there's this huge emotional thing. So I sent her flowers just one day. I knew it was just emotional for her. I told her, just keep smiling. It's going to be okay. I feel like making sure you're that same person on video, that you're the same person in real life, is really, really important. I feel like that's something that a lot of people just miss the target on, because they're trying to be, Mr. Suit and Tie real estate salesman. And it's not that. It's a much more intimate, personal, type situation in every transaction. So I feel like that, if you ever seen my videos, they're super organic. There's not a lot of flash to them, and I'm me, and I feel like the more I'm me, the less I have to play a character, and I'm going to be out of character at any moment. They're going to seem to be fake. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just, I feel like that's really, really, really important. Just be yourself. And a lot of people still don't even know who they are. Hell, I don't know who I am some days, but in the grand scheme of things, you just try to be the same person that you are in front of your wife, in front of your friends, your buddies, whoever it is. If you can be consistent and be that person that you really truly are, and not try to fake it till you make it, I think you're going to be a lot more successful.
So video was a pretty powerful thing. And I remember, when you started going down that train, like, talk to me about how it made you a celebrity. Cause you would go eat and people would stop you, or you go to the gas station. Like, you even have a video of when you went to the gas station, the gas station. How did video change the perception of who you were on a local level? Because it seemed like you got a little bit of status there.
Yeah, it was really weird. I was kind of probably one of the first agents around to really put the dollars behind video. And dude, I everywhere I went, Sarah, my wife, was just like, what the hell is going on? We were walking through the grocery store. Oh, you're that real estate guy. I was getting a prescription filled for my blood pressure medicine. And the girl was like, oh my God, you're that guy that sells real estate. And started a conversation. Going out to eat, just any random place. That's how people knew me. And so, like we talked about, you don't want to be obscure. There's a ton of real estate agents. So if you're out of obscurity, people know you for that. You better embrace the hell out of it, because it means that you're making an impact, that people are remembering you. So I feel like it was this weird kind of, and it was kind of crazy, because I couldn't get a workout in at the gym most of the time, because everybody would be talking to me. I can't tell you how much business I got at the gym, which was really neat. But it was different, For me, it was kind of this weird, thing. Like, people know me for this now, because it wasn't that long ago I was the gym guy. I owned a gym for almost 10 years, and so it was wild how immediately people took me from that guy to, he's a real estate guy. He's a real estate guy. And that was really, really important, because if people aren't thinking about you as the real estate guy, guess what? They're going to use somebody else.
Right. What was this? What were all these videos about? Like, what would you put content out about?
Anything. And it's like I tell my agents, it's like, I would talk about everyday things. I would talk about any kind of problem that we had, any kind of success that we had. It would be, funny stories that happen at a showing or a closing or something. It could be about absolutely anything. And, I would just try to post content every single day and try to add value. Hey, this is a situation that came up. a multiple offer situation. If you're a seller, this is how you deal with it. You know what I mean? And the same thing on the buyer side. So just trying to give value in case anybody were in any type of situation that they could relate to. Just giving it out there, because every single day is something different. Every day.
What type of follow-up process did you implement? Well, I mean, or did you just have a lot of people like calling you? You didn't have to worry much about the follow-up, or what was that like?
When I was, I really had my foot heavy on the gas with video. They were calling me. So it was one of those to where I was just so present on their, social media feed that they were reaching out to me. They were either messaging me via Facebook or they were picking up the phone and calling.
In an age where you have people that hate following up, it seems like that would be like a savior type. We work with agents that don't know how to close a door, let alone a real estate transaction. In some cases, I'm not trying to be rude or offensive. It's just the truth. I mean, there's a lot of people pick up the phone, call, text, leads, and they don't get a response. And they move on to the next thing. When, we realized really early on, if you just create a lot of content like you're talking about, that can replace your follow-up activity. Because when somebody comes into your marketing funnel and your sales funnel, they're now aware of who you are and they're going through this discovery process. Well, if there's nothing for them to discover, you have to take so many activities to follow up. But what you're saying and what happened to you, and a lot of what we try to teach, is that if you just focus on content less than you focus on prospecting, if you focus on content, you don't have to follow up as much. I've never followed up on a lead in my life, like not in my life. I have in my life, right? But since I've been building this business, we've generated over 16,000 appointments for our company. We've never picked up the phone and followed up with a lead, or we never did any of that stuff. I mean, we put automated emails in place and text, but our video content largely was what was responsible for the relationship part. And when we got on the phone with people, oh my goodness, they were just ready to do business, right? It wasn't like we had to do a bunch of crazy stuff. So you're having that experience. Sounds awesome. But is it transferable? Is Matt McCutcheon this white whale unicorn guy in this Georgia market that's just this most special person on planet Earth? Or are you able to take what you've learned over the years, and are your agents able to repeat that success?
Absolutely. Same thing. Nydia Limmer and Chris Briscoe, they're my two top agents. And both, I pounded it in their head. I was like, you guys got to do video. People have to know that you're in real estate. You have to start letting people get to know you. And it was funny. We were at a team meeting just to show you. And I was like, I said, I promise, once we go out and you're around me in a social setting, I promise you guys, someone's going to come up to me and say they saw me on Facebook. And this is one of our early team meetings. We went out to dinner afterwards. Lady comes up. She's like, oh my God, you're Matt McCutcheon. You're that real estate guy. So-and-so that you sold their house for. You know what I mean? So it's like, boom, social proof right in your face.
Right.
This works, And Chris Briscoe and Nydia, they're my two agents that have done the best job with video, just putting out content, whatever it is, And both of them will cross the 100K threshold this year. Both of them.
I love it, man. What would you say is you said, I'm going to make you $100,000 this year, right? Or you're going to give me the formula for that. So let's say I'm a new agent coming to you, or I'm stuck in production, or I'm trying to figure out how to make six figures. Matt, give me the plan. What am I going to do step by step?
The first thing that you're going to do is we will sit down. We're going to make a strategy. That strategy is getting in front of the camera. We're going to have a content calendar where you're going to get in front of that camera and put out organic content to your sphere on Facebook every single day, or every other day, or every 2 days, whatever it is that you can, do. And then two, we're going to learn how to convert leads online. That's the next thing, because we're always going to be producing leads to keep our database growing. And, everybody, they always talk about online lead conversion. It's at one point, my conversion was ridiculous. It was really good. But a lot of it too, I really look back and think about it, was a lot of it was my videos that they were seeing. And a follow-up process, it was through a retargeting ad where they would opt into leads. And so we were creating this. They would already know me. They'd opt in, and I would pick up the phone, they're talking to the guy they saw on TV or on their phone or whatever it is. So that's the thing. And then the next thing is just work and following up on leads until they tell you to go away. I think that's part of it too, is more leads aren't always best. I just learned this recently. More leads are not always best. Leads that you can nurture, a lead comes in now, the likelihood of them buying a house this month is really, really low. And understanding that from the get-go, that everything you do today is going to nurture and bloom in about 90 days. If you can understand that as a real estate agent, it becomes pretty predictable. You don't have to, you're not like, these damn people aren't buying this house. Well, of course they're not. They're not ready to buy yet, So I think it's coming up with a plan and expectations and just a strategy to start executing on the small things. The very first thing I make every single agent do is video. Build their business page and video. It's so important to me. I really honestly feel like that is what built my business, 100%.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. Video does something that, this is one of the most important words I think somebody could remember right now, and that's called indoctrination. When people are going through the discovery phase, trying to figure out if they're going to do business with you. And look, you got to understand, this is the largest investment decision anybody will make, mostly in their entire life. And I want to like cross-reference that. I recently needed to buy a vitamin dispenser. It took me 3 freaking weeks. Okay. If you think that I'm going to buy a house in 3 freaking days, it's not likely to happen. I'm sorry, but this is an absurd thought process, thinking that you're just going to get lead, follow up with lead, and life is going to be magical and peachy keen. Your video content, it solves for X, it solves for indoctrination, it solves for discovery. Like, it totally helps you build a relationship with your prospective clients on autopilot. And that's, people always think that I'm joking when I say that, but like, you're picture proof. Like, if you just put out video content and that content happens to be geared towards those leads that you're generating, what happens is your video content, it does all the heavy lifting because it's indoctrinating people to who you are. And that's something that's happening anyway. Like, if you had no video content and you weren't posting on social every day, the leads that you're generating are going to go seek it. It's just the people that are doing a better job of indoctrinating without me having to actually talk to the person are the ones that are going to win. Like, yes, I believe wholeheartedly that if I generate a lead and I get on the phone with them, history proves to me that I have a very high success rate of turning those people into customers. That's 1,000% true. History has also told me if I get on the phone with somebody that has watched my stuff for a year, I'm an order taker. I'm not a salesperson. Like, I don't have to sell at all. The problem is that time gap from, starting to generate leads to conversion. You're going to get that 1 to 3, 1 to 5% conversions on leads. But the more content you put out there, like, I think it's 3 to 6 months is what's proven for me. When you get to that 3 to 6 months of putting content out every day and targeting that content towards those leads you're generating, you can fall back. Like, you can stop doing so many follow-up activities because that time gap has now gone away, where you've reached a threshold where you're getting leads from 3 to 6 months ago that now know, like, and trust you, and they're ready to do business. And then those leads that you're just generating today will be ready in that 3 to 6 month time frame. So that gap gets filled. I always tell everybody, like, follow up relentlessly until you hit that gap, and then you don't have to follow up as much. Like, if you need business right now today, you're going to have to follow up, and you're going to follow up like crazy. But and I guess that was your experience too, the more content that you can put out that's geared towards those people, the less follow-up activity you have to do, which in turn will get you to a point where you're building a big business. And you've done that. Like,
literally, I swear, like, as you're talking, I'm thinking of clients that have literally called me up and said, "Hey man, I want you to sell my house." And then when I get there, I'm like, "Hey, it's nice to meet you." They're like, "Oh, we feel like we already know you anyways. How's your kids?" And they say my kid's name. What? You know what I mean? So it's like, they've watched your videos. There is no doubt about it. So it's kind of funny because they really do feel like they know you, they trust you, and they like you, obviously, and they're picking up the phone saying, "Hey, come do business with me."
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you there. There is no greater feeling in real estate. Period.
I love it. I love it. And I love you, man. I appreciate you jumping on here. I have a lot of respect for you. You've done a lot of magical things. We probably wouldn't have the business that we have today if it wasn't for guys like you that went out and did the work. I got to tell your story hundreds of thousands of times in some of our own marketing. So I really appreciate you, appreciate the value add. I'm pumped. Nothing makes me happier than knowing that, you went from somebody in a year that went 6 figures and now you're helping other people do the same thing. That's pretty epic, man. So good on you for taking that knowledge and passing it on. Those people deserve it, and you and your family deserve it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Hopefully, if you guys are listening to this, you were able to glean something from the conversation. I know that I have a page full of notes. I know I say that after every episode, but I'm learning from every episode because I got like 4 or 5 key things here that I think are going to be huge for me and for the next person I get to talk to. But if somebody wanted to connect with you, or if they wanted to follow you, like what would be the best way for them to do that?
Hit me up on Facebook. You can send me a friend request, Matt McCutcheon on Facebook, or to go to my business page. My business page name is /Sold So Fast. So Facebook /Sold So Fast. That's my business page. So, if you're an agent and want to see what the hell is this guy doing, jump on there. You can steal all my secrets. You just got to do the work. So, that's just the way I look at it.
Which is the secret.
Which is the secret. Exactly.
Right.
I mean, you can get on there. There's all kinds of different. There's videos of just me talking about my life and like my childhood and why I do what I do. And I feel like sometimes that's important for people to know who you are. So just being, really transparent and vulnerable is really important. So if you want to see any of that stuff, you can jump on my Facebook page and my business page and check out all that.
Awesome, guys. We'll make sure that we link that stuff up in the show notes. I highly recommend that you connect with Matt. He's been an incredible person to work with and believes in giving back and adding value. And so I know if you reach out and try to connect with him, he will, if you want to gain access to my secrets for free, even just reach out to Matt. I'm sure he'll give them to you. This is totally fine. Even though I give them to you for free all the time. But you guys, hopefully you got some value out of today's episode. Thank you so much for continuing to listen to the Marketing Genius podcast. Make sure you continue to watch us on our website, rate us on iTunes and Google Play. We will see you guys on the next episode. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Marketing Genius podcast. Please make sure you remember to rate us on iTunes and Google Play so we can continue to bring you interviews of some of the most influential people in real estate to help you grow your business.